Of the Balanced Community Project. We've gone over many things throughout the previous meetings and on the groups. It's time to boil it down to a list of necessities that must be accomplished. The first and most important thing is what type of legal structure do we want to establish. This has many tax and property and legal implications. And it's very important that we pick the right legal structure in the beginning and we get it done as soon as possible so we can start all of our other efforts. Really, you can't really fundraise unless you can get a legal structure and then get a bank account for that. And so it's definitely the first step. So here are the types of legal structures we have to decide whether or not we want to utilize. Many intentional communities are done as simple partnerships, but they're very small, maybe only 3 or 4 people. This is probably going to be too large for that. The benefits of a simple partnership is you're only taxed once. If we were to do a standard corporation, we would be taxed twice, and we'd have to worry about the Securities and Exchange Commission and having to regulate everything. Subchapter S corporations, you're only taxed once. It's more for a small business. It doesn't afford all of the legal protections of an LLC, so it's not as good as an LLC. The LLC is the best for-profit choice. It's only taxed once, and it can be sort of a hybrid of nonprofit and profit.
Please hold all questions until after he has spoken.
Then we have a co-op. The potential downside of a co-op is that it has to be open membership, so we really would have no say over, you would have to already be like one of our friends or one of the people we wanted to try to live with or anything like that.
Anybody can move in.
Anybody can move in. That's not a bad thing entirely, but it can have potential downsides. Now we're into the not-profit types of companies. We got a 501c7, which is social and recreation clubs. I'm pretty sure that's how the Midwest Burners is structured. It's not taxed, it's not taxed at all. But donations to that company are not tax deductible. So when we're soliciting funds, we won't be able to say you can use this as a tax deduction. We will still be able to raise funds, and people will still give us money.
But the people giving us money
will not get a write-off for it. If we are a 501c3, which is everybody's favorite type of nonprofit corporation, it's not possible because we can't own our own parcels of land. I've done all the research, and everybody always wants to organize under a 501c3, but it's most heavily regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission type of taxable status that you can have, and there's almost no way to give everybody a deeded acreage in a house under a 501c3. Strangely enough, a homeowners association, just a standard homeowners association, has a lot of benefits as far as retaining rights of ownership of the individual participants and members, and also all improvements to all community-owned structures and community-owned public uses and public enjoyment uses are all tax deductible in a homeowners association. So those are the different types of standard legal structures that you can organize under. I was looking into the land grants as well. Now with the land grants, what I did find, and I need to do some more research, but what I did find is you're going to have a hard time with the seller. And you kind of have a little bit less choice on the land itself. And if your seller is a bank, they might not be willing to do it. Anyway, those are the different types of structures that we must decide between. And we need to do that before we can raise 1 penny towards this effort. So I'm going to post a poll and let it run for 2 weeks. And I urge everybody to do their own independent research and to participate in the voting process for what type of legal structure should we adopt. And then we'll narrow it down to 3 and run them off from there. Anyways, this is a pretty quick meeting because really this is all we have to work on right this second, because this is the most important next step. So,
can we do a homeowner associated governance for a co-op?
We need to ask Ryan to look that up, because like I said, he's looking for a research project.
I will say, though, as well, people, that we need extra help in researching all of this stuff. Right now, David is pretty much doing everything, and we need some help just for people to step up and say, I will research this.
I don't mind
I will-
facilitating.
Yeah, and whatever committee you decide.
I know about the
Crowdsourcing
sevens.
is, part of this, though.
I know about the nonprofit sevens, and we would have to still have to follow Robert's Rules of Order, so we
Yes.
have to name a board,
Mhm.
which we'd have to do with the Title III. We could not own, but the co-op could.
The
So
co-op
you
could,
could
and
be
the
in-
co-op can make agreements with individual members for their improvements on community-owned land or land owned by that 501c7.
But they still have to follow Robert's Rules of Order, correct?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So
So,
they, and if we do a homeowners association with inside of the co-op,
Mhm.
they can govern entrance and exit.
yes.
So we would have governance over, I guess the question would be is, could we maintain governance with the homeowners association over entrance into the co-op?
You can't pair an HOA with a co-op in order to restrict membership in any capacity, actually.
No, not restricting membership,
Okay.
but governing once you declare to enter into a co-op,
Mm-hmm.
would the HOA then follow suit as far as you can be a landowner without having a home?
Well, it really boils down to what entity is buying the land and splitting it up, and how they split it up. I mean, honestly, from reading all this, I really think an LLC needs to buy the land and then
I agree.
donate it to whatever. Second, we need to decide what we need to buy our land and materials under, and then how it gets transferred to the end entity that we actually want in place while we are living there.
Yeah.
So.
Did I see something that you guys are sharing documents on Google Docs?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
are.
Co-authoring. This is part of the crowdsourcing effort to crowdsource the research and questions that maybe I haven't thought of, things that might pop up, things that we need to address.
Yeah.
We need answers for. We need
Yeah.
questions and answers.
We need
from our
people to get on there so that they can all, access the docs, read them, review them,
Mhm.
add, make comments, everything.
If you can make it your goal within the next 24 hours to do that, everybody, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
One
Like,
little
Google
contribution,
Docs,
or just
go on there.
address
setting
on
it up.
the Facebook
Mhm.
thing?
Yeah, if you look
Or
at
like,
the
can I
Facebook
just give
thing,
you
there's
my
a direct
email
link
address
to
and you
it.
can add me?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do that, and I have no problem adding people manually like that. Every time I think that I haven't seen anybody doing any changes to it, I'm gonna post something to the Core Balanced Community Project group, and have a link, say, hey, we'd like your input, come check this out. That's where I'm at with that now, but I'd like people to independently do it a little bit more without having to have the nudge.
Yeah. And is that the same thing as Google Drive?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
changed
they
Google
changed
Docs
it.
to Google Drive,
It's Google
and
Drive.
it's the same thing.
Because I've used that a lot, and it's really cool because you can
It's
just
fucking
share
awesome.
it and edit
See,
it.
and we're on that shit too.
We're already on it, and we're already doing it, and
Yeah. That's
and
what
7
we need to
people
do.
have access to the document so far. We need to get it into the 30s. Literally, in order to make this an actual community with enough
Yeah,
people to have an internal economy and a thriving, area.
Yeah.
So,
I want to add my friend that he's from Columbia.
Yeah, you have admin privileges
yeah, we have
now.
privileges now.
So you can add whoever you
Google
want.
Docs?
And we had to
No,
change
on
the settings also.
Facebook is the gathering tool,
Right.
and then the Google Drive condenses and boils down all the ideas
Right.
from the
Yeah.
main group.
But also the
So-
group is open now. We didn't realize the settings
We
were
changed
the way
the
they
settings.
were.
You
So
can
now anybody can
add
add someone. They
anybody.
just are pending approval until we
Yeah,
see
and
it
then
or any
I'll get a
admin sees
pending
it.
approval, so will all the admins,
Yeah.
and then you just, somebody will
Cool.
approve it. All right.
He's got a lot of really cool ideas. He used to live in
Yeah.
this place called the Mushroomery outside
Oh, wow.
Portland, and it's a 6 generations old family farm. And
Wow.
they've got like anywhere from the kids all the way to the grandma, like working and living on this farm. And he's got a lot of cool ideas as far as like tumbleweed houses and stuff like that. Like he built
Ooh.
a tumbleweed house.
Interesting.
on this one that's
We
really
can do a
small.
lot of that stuff after we build our,
our own livable structures that will
Right.
pass Boone County's occupancy rating
And
Missouri's occupancy rating.
Okay.
Yeah, we every time we want to build something like that, it's kind of going to have to be like, well, we have this too, and this is an example of this type of living, and maybe somehow we'll be able to get some kind of ecotourism thing going with them or something like that. But
You can get an occupancy permit on a home that is listed as sustainable living.
under several key stipulations that
Right.
we really need to go over very, very, very carefully.
Yes.
But yes, you know, there's a lot of different ways to approach it for sure.
We'll allow hay bale, hempcrete.
They will allow, or what?
Under-
hempcrete.
They will allow it
Really?
under certain circumstances. Yes,
Hmm.
this is what we're talking. It's not just straight up cut and dry.
Architect design.
Mhm.
Yeah, it has to be architect design.
Okay.
And
So
then
we're
the-
talking about $4,000 per set of plans, pretty much. So the more sets of plans we
Look,
have, the more
Dixie, have a
different types of
question.
houses we have, the more expensive it will be. But
Sorry I'm getting in late on this, I'm just making sure
Don't
I'm
worry
up to
about it.
speed. Is it just like
Okay.
the first step of getting through all the red tape and the
Yes.
legal
Well,
shit?
Mhm.
he was, that's why he was describing the legal structures that we could possibly file under,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the benefits and the negatives or restrictions of that.
And you said like LLC,
LLC, we can do whatever we want.
501c7.
because I've talked to Alexa a little bit about LLC
Yeah.
stuff and
We can do whatever. A legal,
Mhm.
an
Alexa
LLC
is a
can operate as
valuable
a for-profit or
person to have
non-profit
involved.
company. Any legal business that you can do in the state of Missouri can operate under an LLC.
right.
It's
It provides legal indemnity for people involved.
not everybody. Main organizers can still. There's still potential legal. There's no really, truly, there is
There's
no
no
business
safeguard.
entity that protects all potential members. Really, this day and age, that's kind of gone out the window. But anyways, that's what we gotta pick one or two. I say we pick the LLC in the beginning and then roll it into either a co-op or
We can
homeowners
divide it
association.
into different
And you know,
types of
that's my
legal
vote,
structures.
and I'll set up a poll on Facebook, and we can hash it out for the next couple of weeks. Thank you for coming out, and I look forward to being your neighbor.